Welcome back to I Love Old School Music, where we bring you old school news with a new point of view. Most of us are familiar with Roger Troutman, the iconic voice behind hits like More Bounce to the Ounce, left an unforgettable legacy in music. But while his talent inspired millions, his family has faced some truly tragic moments. Today we're talking about his son, Brent Lynch, and the devastating crime that has left a lasting mark on everyone involved. But before we dive into this one, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up on what's happened with your favorite old school celebrities. Now let's get into this heartbreaking story that involves the late music legend Roger Troutman and his son, Brent Lynch. In 2012, Brent Lynch committed an unthinkable act. On March 3rd of that year, his then-girlfriend, Carolyn Leet, was found unresponsive in his home in St. Paul, Minnesota. Carolyn, just 32 years old, was an artist and nanny. According to court docs as well as Dayton Daily News, she suffered a traumatic head injury, had defensive wounds on her hands and arms, and was bleeding from her nose, mouth, and eyes. Blood splatter was found on the walls, and she was partially unclothed, a scene that spoke to the brutal nature of the attack. This wasn't just a crime, it was an act that destroyed two families. Brent entered an Alford plea, essentially not admitting guilt, but acknowledging the evidence against him. He was sentenced to 32 years in prison. Currently, he's serving his time at the Minnesota Correctional Facility. According to the Department of Corrections, his projected release date is August 15th, 2033. Now, here's where this story hits even harder, when we hear from the families involved. Carolyn's mother, Sheila Leet, painfully shared this during Brent Lynch's sentencing. "I am Carolyn's mother, and I taught her to love, and now I find myself filled with a hate I didn't have before. It eats away at my insides and leaves the void left by Carolyn's death even greater." And Brent's own mother, Brenda Lynch, revealed that her son's behavior when intoxicated terrified her. Brenda reportedly said this to the cops about her son Brent at that time. "When he drinks, he gets crazy, and it terrifies me." On the night of the crime, court records show that Brenda refused to pick up Brent and Carolyn from a party that night, asking her sister, Glenda Jett, to do so instead because she said that she could tell that he had supposedly been drinking and she wanted to be nowhere near him in that state. Daily Dayton News reported that Brenda Lynch said her son called her about 3 a.m. that day and said, "You won't believe this. Carolyn let somebody steal the damn car. Carolyn was so busy getting out of the car to see where I was, and somebody took the damn car," the complaint said. Brenda's sister, Glenda Jett, told police she found the couple around 4 a.m. at a specified street location. According to Glenda, Carolyn appeared extremely intoxicated, and Brent had to carry her to the car. While Brent had also been drinking, Glenda noted he didn't seem drunk, as stated in the complaint. Brent's girlfriend, Carolyn Leet, had what appeared to be road rash above her hip, but showed no other visible injuries at the time, Glenda reported to authorities. She then dropped them off at Brent's Minnehaha Avenue residence. Hours later, Glenda discovered Carolyn's body, unresponsive and bloodied, after Brent called her back to the house to see if Carolyn was okay. And according to court records, Brent reportedly said to his aunt Glenda, "She's going to wake up, right? She's going to get up, right?" A neighbor who was a registered nurse came over and also frantically attempted CPR on Carolyn, unfortunately to no avail. By 6:10 a.m., an unidentified female called 911, stating that they needed the cops and an ambulance ASAP at Brent's home, as noted in court docs. "It wasn't supposed to go down like this. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was the alcohol," Brent was then quoted as saying in the complaint. And when taken into custody, he reportedly told jail staff, "Please be nice to me. I'm here for a long time." This devastating crime is another chapter in the Troutman family's tragic history. In 1999, Roger Troutman was killed by his brother, Larry Troutman, in a murder-suicide. Just 4 years later, Roger's other son, Roger Lynch Jr., passed away at the young age of 33. And now, Brent's actions have only added to the sorrow that seems to have plagued this family. This story also sheds light on three serious issues: domestic violence, mental health issues, and substance use. Carolyn Leet's tragic passing highlights the importance of recognizing and addressing any potential problems before they escalate into irreversible tragedies. If you or someone you know is struggling with any of the aforementioned issues, please seek help. It is never too late. As we all know, there are many resources out there that can save lives. Before we wrap up, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think tragedies like this can be prevented? What can we do as a society to better address these type of issues? Drop a comment below and let us know to keep these important conversations going. Thanks for tuning in, family. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time. I love old school music, old school news with a new point of view.